house has teeth. It's a dry, radiator-heated silence that makes the skin on my knuckles crack until they bleed. Outside, the Oregon sky is the color of a bruised plum, and the first frost has already turned the garden into a graveyard of black, shriveled stalks. Everything outside is dead, which is why the ghost plant in the hallway shouldn't be this green. It sat on the mahogany pedestal, a cluster of Graptopetalum rosettes that I bought at a roadside stand in October. Back then, they were a dusty, ethereal lavender. Now, in the heart of November, they have turned a translucent, milky white. Like cataracts, like the eyes of a drowned man. I walked past it tonight and felt a draft. Not from the window, from the plant. A localized pull of air, as if the rosettes were inhaling. When I leaned in, I didn't smell soil. I smelled copper. I smelled the sharp, metallic tang of a nosebleed. It's moved. I don't mean someone bumped the pedestal. I mean the plant has physically adjusted its geometry. Each rosette is now tilted exactly 45 degrees, facing the door to my bedroom. I've begun to feel a strange heaviness in my legs, a leaden lethargy that smells like wet mulch. This morning, I looked in the mirror and found a small circular bruise on the back of my calf. It wasn't purple. It was a pale, waxy grey. When I touched it, the skin didn't feel like skin. It felt like a succulent leaf, firm, cold, and holding too much water. I think about the mandrake legends. The old books say they are little gallows men, because they grow where the seed of a dying man hits the earth. They are spirits that couldn't find a mouth to speak with, so they grew a root instead. Tonight the wind is screaming through the Douglas firs, but inside the house is too quiet. I can hear the ghost plant breathing. A slow, pressurized hiss. Sss, huff, huff. It is matching the rhythm of my own lungs. It is practicing. I woke up at 3 a.m. The radiator was clanking, but the room was freezing. I couldn't feel my feet. I threw back the duvet, expecting to see blue skin from the cold. Instead, I saw white. A thick, roped network of roots had crept up the legs of the bed. They didn't just lay on top of me. They had integrated. The roots had threaded themselves into the pores of my ankles, sewing my feet to the mattress with microscopic silver filaments. I didn't scream. I couldn't. My throat felt as though it had been lined with felt. I looked to the doorway. The ghost plant was no longer on its pedestal. It was on the floor, its thick, heavy stems dragging its pale rosettes across the hardwood, like a many-limbed crab. It was slow. It was patient. It was November, and it was starving for the only heat left in this valley. I realized then that body snatching isn't a violent act. It's an evacuation. The plant wasn't eating me. It was preparing a vessel. My marrow was being siphoned out to feed the rosettes, and in return, the plant was pumping a cold, waxy sap into my veins. A trade. My spirit for its fiber. The transition is almost complete. I am writing this with a hand that no longer looks like a hand. My fingers have fused into 3 thick, succulent stalks. The skin is a beautiful pale lavender white, covered in a fine, powdery bloom. If I pressed a finger to my chest, I wouldn't leave a bruise. I'd leave a leaf. I don't feel fear anymore. That's a human emotion, and I have very little human left in the reservoir. Mostly, I feel a deep, rooting curiosity. I feel the vibrations of the floorboards. I feel the CO2 signature of the mailman as he walks up the porch steps. A bright, burning orange map in a world of indigo. He knocked today. I didn't answer. I couldn't. My vocal cords have hardened into rigid wooden branch structures. But the plant answered for me. It didn't use words. It used a frequency, a high, sweet hum that made the mailman stop and tilt his head. A look of peaceful confusion crossing his face. He'll be back. They always come back for the pretty plants. The great withering is over. The takeover is absolute. If you were to walk into my bedroom now, you wouldn't see a man. You would see a magnificent 6-foot-tall cluster of ghost plants erupting from a pile of old clothes and a cracked leather chair. The rosettes are massive, the size of dinner plates, shimmering with a ghostly moonlit glow. I am the green sheet now. I am the swell. I don't need the sun. I have the heat of the house. I have the memory of the marrow. And soon, when the next traveler knocks on the door to escape the December frost, I will have a new trellis to climb. I am waiting. I am patient. I am November. Keep your wits. Scrub the leaves. Look around. Stay vigilant. Stay inedible.